A very warm welcome, everyone. The scenario that we have seen just now was a simple demonstration of how websites with basic Apache authentication that runs on any Linux system can be protected using a simple service called Fail2Ban. Fail2Ban service protects your website from brute force attacks. It scans the log files of your web server and bans the IP addresses that shows malicious attempts. Perhaps a specific IP address has been keying in too many failed credentials. What Fail2Ban does is update the firewall rules to reject any offending client IP addresses. As you can see on the screen, the IP tables are being updated, and the new firewall rules will reject the offending IP addresses for a specific amount of time. In this demonstration, I will be showing you how you can protect your website from brute force attacks. For the demo, I will be using Oracle Linux 8, but you may use any Linux distribution that you desire. But the prerequisites are that you must have an Apache web server installed on your Linux system, including an error log file, which will be the key in configuring the Fail2Ban. So without further ado, let's carry on with the demonstration. Now, I will be showing you first up, installing and configuring Fail2Ban. We will be doing the basic configuration for the jail.config file. So first I will install my Apple repository to install Fail2Ban, followed by installing the Fail2Ban client, and then we would go to start the Fail2Ban and enable it on every run. Now we'll check the status. Alright, let's go into the directory of Fail2Ban and copy the configuration file such that we can access it as our own. It is important to do this step so that the configuration that we make will be valid across all updates that Fail2Ban may have in the future. Now, let's open the local file we had just made. We will search Apache, and this will show us the jail configuration for the Apache basic authentication. Please add in the details as you go. We will first enable it by setting the enable value to true, followed by specifying our log path. Please make sure that your log path matches the website that you are making. This is important because Fail2Ban will only look at this error log to determine which client or which offending IP address to ban. Now please scroll down and add in the values that you see on the screen. The ban time determines the length of time in seconds for which an IP is banned. A negative number denotes that the ban is permanent, while the findtime value specifies the length of time between login attempts before a ban is set. What this means is that if Fail2Ban is set to ban an IP address after 5 max retries, these 5 attempts must occur within the set find limit time. And speaking of max retry, if the number of attempts exceeds the limit set at max retry and is within that find time limit specified earlier, then Fail2Ban will ban the client, and the ban duration will be equal to the ban time specified. After making the configuration, save the file and restart the Fail2Ban client. We can view all the enabled jails by typing in the following command. As we see, there is only one jail enabled, and that is the Apache auth that we have enabled just now. Let's look into this jail closer. What we see here is the status for the jail that we had just enabled. As we see, the file list is the error log that we had specified in the configuration. Now, we are all done for the configuration of Fail2Ban. Next, we will be doing a testing on Fail2Ban to see whether it works. I will now enter my server's IP address and log in. I will first log in with valid credentials so that you can see how the website would look like. We have some instructions indicated here. First, I will close the page, and then I would clear the cache. This will allow us to log in again, but this time with a different account. Now, let us try logging in with invalid credentials. I will try a username that does not exist. Second, I will use a user that exists, but a different password that is not valid. As you can see, we cannot connect to the website. This is the effect of Fail2Ban. We have been banned from the site. Next up is monitoring Fail2Ban client. We will check the error log file for the website and the Fail2Ban Apache authentication jail status. Now, we will look at the jail status again and see if the client IP exists there. As you can see, the client IP is indicated in the banned IP list. Any banned IP will be indicated here. But let us view the error log to see what made Fail2Ban ban the client IP. As we see here, this is the first username that I had entered, and the error indicates that the user is not found. Secondly, you see that a valid user is entered, but with an invalid password. It indicates that there is an authentication failure for password mismatch. These are the two most common types of errors we would see in the error log. Ultimately, we'll be modifying some Fail2Ban configurations. We would play around with some settings, such as modifying the bantime and findtime, etc. We will try out each of this to understand the effects of each value. Let us see the effects of ignoreself. As you see, I will enter many failed attempts and see if we get banned. But apparently, we are not getting banned. This is because the ignoreself setting is set to true. But what if we set it to false? Let's see. First, we edit the value and reload the Fail2Ban service so that the new configuration will take place. Remember, we only have one max retry. Let's see if our invalid credentials will get us banned. It did. So this is the effect of ignoreself. Let us see the effects of ignoreip. I will enter my client's IP address and see if our client gets banned from multiple failed attempts. Remember to reload the service. I am now on my client machine. Let's see if the client machine gets banned from the server. As you can see, no matter how many failed attempts I put, I'm still not banned from the server. This is the effect of ignoreip. Let's see the effects of findtime. Take note of the following configuration before we start. We see that there is only one maximum retry and a 30 seconds bantime, with a 5 seconds findtime. This means that Fail2Ban will only look at the attempts made in the last 5 seconds. So now let's try to put invalid credentials for this time, and then we will wait 5 seconds. And now we will retry again with the invalid credentials. As we see, we are still not banned from the server, even though there's only one maximum retry. This is because we have exceeded the findtime. But now, let us try inputting more than one invalid credentials within 5 seconds. As you can see, we are banned from the server. This is the effect of findtime. Let us now see the effects of max retry. Remember to make the following configuration. Now, we will have a maximum of 3 retries. I will now input invalid credentials for 3 times. As we can see, we are banned from the server. This is the effect of max retry. Now let's see the effects of bantime. Remember to make the following configurations. This time, we will set a bantime of 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes, and a findtime of 5 seconds, and a maximum retry of 1. First, we will see the effects of getting banned from the server. Previously, we were banned only for 30 seconds. So let us refresh at the 30-second mark. We are still not connected to the server. This means we are still banned. Let us wait for the rest of the 5 minutes more. Welcome back. Now it's the 5-minute mark. Let us retry to connect to the server again. And yes, we can attempt to log in. So this is the effect of bantime. Welcome to the end of the video. In summary, I have shown you how to defend your web server from brute force attacks. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. I hope you will implement Fail2Ban to protect your web server and other services. Thank you.